Hey guys, welcome to the offices of Signet Trading in Perth, Australia. My name is Darren. We are, I guess, Axia Futures arm in Australia. We're located in sunny Perth, Western Australia, where today it's the middle of winter and it's been literally been 22 degrees and I was down at the beach. So I know today would be a very hot summer's day for all the boys in the trading floor in London, but we're very blessed with weather down here, and it's been an awesome, warm, mild winter's day. So anyway, um, as you can see, I've got the guys behind me. That's part of our first recruit of of traders down here. They're grinding through the Axia Careers program at the moment, just learning every single day. So yeah, very blessed to be associated with Axia. The whole point of this stream, I'm going to be taking one a week, is to kind of give you guys something a little bit different, right? So you get plenty of market-based, market-related information from Brannigan and Reg and Alex and all the guys multiple times a week. So what I'm going to be doing is just once a week giving you something a little bit different. So what we're going to be focusing on is really looking at, as the slide says there, how you can overcome trading errors with a simple action plan. So what are simple basic things that we can do on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month basis to improve our trading, to consistently know that we are growing and getting better all the time. So what I'm going to speak to over the next coming weeks, months, however long it is I'm doing this, is what I've seen work in a fair little while now in the prop industry, being involved in professional trading and helping to develop traders, like what I've seen work across a broad set of traders and what I've seen work for myself. Each week might be a little bit different. We might get a topic that might take a couple of weeks to grind through. And what I want to try and do is endeavor to give you guys a little bit of homework every week so that you can actually put the stuff into action in your own trading, in your own life, or in any type of advanced complex skill that you want to achieve. So let's get cracking. So what I want to talk about today, as it says on the slide, is the topic of focus. The reason that I wanted to talk about this was because it's been something that's been coming up in our trading group here over the past couple of days, just organically. So I thought it'd be a good place to start because it's something that's been on my mind quite a while, both for other traders and with my own trading. The thing that you guys may not realize is that the line between being a profitable and struggling trader is literally razor thin at times. Even when you are successful and profitable, you dance along that fine edge, over days, weeks, months, possibly even intraday, right? And the difference between tipping from, I'm losing a lot of money to losing a little bit of money to I'm a scratch trader to I'm slightly profitable to I'm killing it, super, super fine. And it's really the little 1%ers, as they say. And one of those 1%ers I want to look at today is this concept of focus. Just being super, super focused on what you are doing every single day. So, like, as it says there on the third line, total 100% laser-like focus on the market and what the market is doing and what you are trying to do in the market. So I think a lot of guys think, oh yeah, I'm focused, but because they haven't been in a professional trading environment, they don't actually realize the level and the amount of just ultra 100%, like I said, laser-like focus that this takes to be successful. You got to remember, this is such a competitive environment. Trading is more like a professional sport than high finance, right? And if you think of the amount of focus that a professional tennis player, golf player, rally car driver, whatever it may be, has to have and display on a day-to-day basis to be successful in their sport, that's the type of focus you need to bring to trading. You wouldn't be surfing Twitter while you're driving a rally car. Okay, so you shouldn't be doing that whilst you are focused on your trading. So like I said there, for intraday prop traders, what this kind of means is you need to be watching every tick, every print, every big change in the composition of the order book whilst you are trading. And this is a tough skill to develop, but a very necessary skill to develop. I think this is super important because with focus, if you have focus and you display focus and you can come in every day and just create those streaks of days where you have large chunks of real time focused on what you're doing, you develop quicker as a trader, okay, because you are applying the concepts of deliberate practice, right? So if you were going to practice golf, you wouldn't go down to the driving range and just hit balls willy-nilly and, oh yeah, I'm just having fun and just smacking it as far as I can or whatever. You would go down, and if you wanted to develop as quickly as possible, you would go out and say, right, today I'm working on my short game and I've got a target that's 100 meters away and I'm looking to fade the ball into that target or whatever it is, right? You would go in with a very specific goal. That's how you need to approach your trading if you want to develop as quickly as possible. And focus helps you get into that zone of deliberate practice. With focus, you are able to see more opportunities intraday. There was an awesome example today in the Bund at about 12, 13, 14 minutes after the cash open. We called it out in the room here where the 90s offer kept refreshing. The bid kept coming back. There was kind of a ton of absorption happening there. And if you were super focused, you could see how it was just buyers getting trapped at that level, right? You could just see it. Now, how you could see it is very difficult to explain. It's something a skill that you have to develop by being super focused on the depth of market and the order book for a very, very long time. But you could see how the bid refreshed a little bit slower every time. It was a little bit less aggressive coming back, and the offer got slightly more aggressive. And so I called out in the room at about 12 or 13 past. I was like, there's a potential trap setting up here, right? There's a potential stop run happening. And sure as nuts, a couple of minutes later, we're trading 7 ticks lower. And you could see that coming. But the way that you notice it, the way you recognize it, is by being ultra focused on what the market is doing, every tick, every print. I say they're instinct, right? A lot of really successful advanced traders display what beginners almost seem to think is like a sixth sense, right? But it's not a sixth sense. It's just years and years and years of seeing the same patterns over and over and over and over. And your brain begins to develop an instinct for what may potentially happen. There are some things that some very advanced sportsmen do which may seem like sixth sense to people, right? But they just have an innate sense of the game they play, and they've seen so many situations and recognize the patterns so many times that becomes ingrained into their brain. But going into an endeavor where you're kind of half concentrated on it and, oh yeah, whatever, that is going to take so much longer to develop, if it develops at all. And the biggest thing with all of this, you wrap it together, is that you're going to waste less time getting to where you want to get to as a trader. And at the end of the day, there are lots of different types of capitals in the world, right? We'll talk about this a bit later. At a prop firm, sure, there's financial capital, right? There's the size of your account or the limits that you get or what your daily stop is or any of that stuff. There's also emotional capital, confidence in your trading, confidence in yourself, whatever it may be. There's mental capital, how tired you are, how good your decision making is at any given time. The biggest one is time, right? Time capital, because time is the one thing you can't get back. Money you can make again, you can grow your confidence back, you can sleep and get your mental capacity back and all that kind of stuff. Time is gone, all right? So you want to do everything in your power to make sure you waste as little time as possible. And of course, without focus, all the opposites, right? Your development is slower, you miss opportunities, which is how you get guys going like, how did he see that trade? How did he see that? How did he get on that and I didn't? It's because very often it's because of this laser-like focus that really good traders can display. Okay, so the action steps. I told you that we wouldn't just be talking about theory. We're going to talk about how we can actually apply this. So all I can talk about is what I've found works for me and what I've seen work for others. I've been very blessed to be around some very good, very big traders over my career. and I've done my best to kind of observe what they do. So the first one I'll talk about is the fact that you cannot concentrate at these really high levels for long periods of time. Okay, it's like running a 400 meters. Like I said, you can't run a marathon at top speed all the way through, right? Really good marathon runners will learn how to modulate their output and modulate their pace at certain times in a race to ensure that they get the most efficient run through the race. If you're running 400 meters, you know that I probably can't go flat out right from the beginning, because I need to be able to put on the afterburners of the last 100 meters to go and really, as they would say in athletics, like kick, you know. And if I'm going to kick in the last 100, I need to kind of modulate my pace at the beginning. So all of this is energy management, right? If you're going to be focused the way you should be, you can't do it for 8 hours a day, right? It's impossible. We all know from high school, university, doing a 3-hour exam, even though you're just sitting there scribbling with a pencil, you walk out of there totally exhausted, right? Because that type of focus takes a lot of energy. So what I would suggest is you try and adopt a schedule of short bursts of focus, right? Focus, rest, focus, rest, focus, rest, focus. Take a slightly longer rest, come back, do it again. The more you do this, the more that muscle in your brain gets trained, and you'll be able to do it for longer and longer periods. So short bursts, what I still do to this day, 20 to 25 minutes on, 5 to 10 minutes off, right? And I will literally use a clock. I will start a clock and I will go, okay, for the next 20 to 25 minutes, I am 100% focused on the market and what I'm trying to do, right? That is it. I have no distractions outside from the market. Everything is focused on the market. The only outside influence I allow myself is the guys around me and the traders around me who are all doing the same thing, and so they're actually enhancing my focus. We'll talk a little bit about that when we get to the hive mind. So short bursts, right? 20 to 25 minutes, timer goes. Take 5 to 10 minutes to kind of look at the market with soft eyes. Go get a drink of water, go to the bathroom, get a quick bite to eat, whatever. Come sit back down. Okay, here we go again. Try and punch out 4 or 5 of those a day, and then try and turn that 4 or 5 into 5 or 6. Turn that 5 or 6 into 6 or 7. Turn that 6 or 7 to 7 to 8. Okay, now you're starting to build long stretches. And as with so many things, do that consistently, day after day after day after day after day, if you want to get all the benefits that we spoke about in the previous slide. Another example of managing your focus that I've seen used, a good friend of mine, Mark, who's a really good guy, a really big trader, he uses a kind of error 3-strike rule. So what he tracks is, instead of time, he is tracking his mistakes or his errors. And if he makes 3 mistakes, so I fat finger a trade, I miss a good trade, and whatever it may be, right? Whatever you define your errors as. Once he's made 3 mistakes in a row, he takes a break. Okay, and his challenge to himself is, I want to continuously extend the amount of time I can spend without making 3 errors. Okay, so today it took me 15 minutes before I made 3 mistakes. Next week, I want to work on extending that out to 20 minutes. The week after that, 25 minutes. The week after that, 30 minutes. If you could do that consistently, you will hopefully get out to, I can go hours and hours on end without getting to those 3 strikes. And that's really what you're looking for. The next point I want to talk about is this concept of the hive mind, right? So this is a way that you can make sure you can help yourself stay focused. This is a huge advantage that prop firms have. In my mind, the biggest advantage of being in a prop firm is the environment, right? You're around other traders, everyone's talking about the markets, calling stuff out, and it really is, like I say, the hive mind. So we always try and instill an ethos and a culture where guys are talking to each other all the time about the market. They're calling out what they're seeing. They're calling about a bid that keeps refreshing. They're calling about 1,000 lots down. They're calling about whatever it may be, right? They're calling about someone flashing an order here, or someone pulling an order there, whatever it is, constantly all the time. And what that does is that it keeps the group as a whole engaged with the market. So if your concentration starts to slip and you are long the SPOOs, and someone calls out stocks 50 making new highs, your attention is immediately triggered back onto what is happening. So having a group around you that is of the same ilk and has got into that habit of calling out to each other what the market is doing. It's like a sporting team when they're defending, calling out to each other which holes need to be plugged, which channels need to be watched, where they're short on defenders, etc. So it's super, super helpful. If you aren't in a prop firm and you can't do that, what I suggest you do is the is he or she going crazy thing, which is talk to yourself. Like, it may sound dumb, but even if you do it out loud or you do it in your head, narrate to yourself what the market is doing as it trades, right? Because it'll keep you engaged. You want to do as many things as you can to stop your attention from wandering. And obviously this goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway. For those periods where you are concentrating, you need to remove all distractions, okay? No social media, turn your phone off or put it on silent, no stalking old girlfriends on Facebook. I know you guys do it. No focus anywhere else but on what you are doing. There's an awesome clip that I've put there, and hopefully, Johnny, you can put it in the comments or whatever goes below this video. I don't know how this all works quite yet. But there's a clip from The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise, which, crappy movie, but I enjoyed this little part of it, where he's learning how to fight the samurai way, or whatever it is. And basically, the samurai dude is like just beating the crap out of him. And this guy comes over to him and he says, like, you know, you need no mind. And old TC looks at him like, bro, like, what are you talking about? And he basically says to him, you're concentrating on so many things. You're concentrating on the crowd that's watching you. You're concentrating on the fact that the grass is slippery. You're concentrating on the fact that I'm wearing this weird Japanese, get up. You're concentrating on the fact that this guy's trying to knock your head off. You're concentrating on too many things. What you need to do is just remove all these distractions and focus on the one thing that is right in front of you. So no mind. It's an awesome clip. It's like 45 seconds. And yeah, a decent kind of bit of knowledge. So homework, right? Uncle Darren's got some work for you guys. So I want you over the next week before I record next week's video to kind of start playing with the idea, right? Find ways and experiment with different ways to manage your attention and to improve your focus. Remove all distractions for important periods. Okay, so what are the important periods? Obvious. The open plus 1 hour. Okay, generally one of the most liquid, most volatile times. Anything in and around major news events. Go to Forex Factory, go to the calendar. If it's red and if for a market you're trading, you want from that minute to probably half an hour after that, right? Total focus. And the last kind of hour, half an hour into the close. That's a good place to start, right? And as you get to know your market and as you develop, you'll know the times that you need to be super focused or not. Like I say, you can't do it all day. You need to pick and choose your spots. Narrate the markets to yourself, in a group, whatever. Keep yourself engaged. You want to be constantly talking all the time, or at least thinking all the time about what's happening as the market's trading. And then really realize the importance of other types of capital apart from financial. So mental capital, energy capital, and like I said before, the most important, time capital, right? You don't get time back, so make the most of it. If you're going to be sitting in this chair in front of a screen for very long periods of time, make the most of your time, okay? If you guys want to hit me up, Twitter's probably the best place where I engage kind of with the outside world and this kind of stuff. At Lift the Offer. Always cool to hear from traders from wherever. Happy to talk. That's probably the best way to do it. And if you have a question that I can't answer, these very handsome gents over here, please get in contact with them. Axia Futures on the web, info@axiafutures.com, or the Twitter handle is @Axia Futures. Guys, I hope this has been helpful. I will endeavor to do my best to bring you as much knowledge as possible. And I really hope you enjoyed the first segment, and I will speak to you next week.